divide that into $90, that'll tell you how much these are individually. So, with the actual prices. So, for instance, where I've got that meal, and I color code this, because what happens if I go down in a blaze of glory and the family has to handle a meal without me? It's all color coded, and I just use Sharpies, just color right across them. So that way they go in there and they go, everything in green goes with green. The green meal is what you. So my kids always go in there and go, get the green meal today. Do the green meal. So I just laugh. But here's one, and this has been packaged for. Actually, this has been packaged for a year. I packaged this right before the class we did last year, and these are saying for me, if I want to use within the year mark, to use them this month. So what I'll probably do is pick a night that we want to have cheddar potato soup, cornbread, some apple slices, and fruit punch mix. And I actually just buy organic drink mixes in bulk and then break them out and do this. So one of these bags created a lunch on a camp out for my family, like this. All labeled with the instruction sheet with it, and you'll notice on there I do put the instructions on everything in here, so that way it's as, if I have to hand this to a family that came to a camp out and they didn't have any food, which is funny enough, we've had to do things like that before. I go, here's the meal, and everything's written on there, and they're like, wow, thank you, it makes them happy. And for an emergency preparedness standpoint, for those of you who think you're not going to give food to your neighbor, it's hard. I was like, no, I prepared. They're all going to the dogs. You're standing there and the Holy Spirit's like, share your food. You'll be like, oh. This is an amazing way to share your food, because you can make soups out of all of these things really easily, because all you're going to do is take a little bit of a base that you like. And guess what? I use all that zucchini and all that squash that grows in abundance in our gardens, and all your neighbors bring it over, and everybody's like heaping it like, hey, Merry Christmas. You're like, I don't want that. I take that, I actually go ahead and steam it, chop it up, throw it in the dehydrator, dehydrate it, I grind it down into powder. That's my soup base. Not only have I tricked my kids into eating good things, zucchini doesn't taste in that form. It absorbs whatever taste is applied to it. So in soups, my friends are always like, I'm always trying to find a new zucchini. I'm like going, it's in there, baby. Because either squash or zucchini.
So do you peel it?
Yes. Yes, I sure peel it. So, and I just steam it because I want to go ahead and process it a little bit, get it a little bit cooked so it's a little bit softer. But on these, but remember that when you're putting something that's dehydrated into a soup, so let's say you open up your crock pot, you're like, I'm going to be good. I'm going to do what she told me to do. I'm going to use this stuff and feel good about it. You want to throw in chicken, or let's say you have chicken left over from the dinner the night before and you don't want it dehydrated. Throw it in that crock pot. Then what you're going to do is you're going to actually just put a small handful of each thing that you want in there. So when I make a chicken noodle soup, I throw in some pasta, I throw in some chicken. I like to have a little bit of corn or a little bit of peas, or if I've got some shredded green beans that I really love, I'll throw those in. And so I'm just going to do a handful, because as it begins hydrating, again, you see the difference in that. You want to remember that it's going to go down to, yeah, there you go. So yeah, you want to be careful that you don't put, like, don't dump this whole thing in there, or you better love peas, because it's going to be pea soup with a little bit of chicken in there when you get time. So try an experiment. So especially if you know you're taking a dinner to someone else, great night to do a soup. They don't get mad; they're just grateful to have a meal, and then you're just like, so I did that. So yeah, and then sometimes it does open a dialogue where people do become interested in hearing more about these techniques, because it's exciting. So anyway, on the sweet potato fries, I love doing this for camping. You just take them, soak them, just turn them back into potatoes, and then you just throw them, just dump off the water, throw them into the skillet, toss them, or you can bake them, rebake them again. They are delicious. They're wonderful, and again, they're sweet. So my kids think that they're getting something really good. And usually these are actually commercially purchased. They are organics. They have a lot of the junk stripped out. But I do like to go and chop up my own and do it myself. Really fun. The kids love it.
So do you cook them first then?
Yes. I pretty much cook.
And then do it, or you just cook them?
No, just cook them.
What are those called?
So,
What are they?
Sweet potato fries.
Oh, okay.
So you can buy them in the package. And the best part about dehydrating is make it easy on yourself. One of my favorite things to do is to go get a frozen package of corn, go like this, and go like this. I've now become a hero. I have now a pound of corn in there, and then pretty much you can put a pound on each tray. So if you have 4 trays, you can do 4 pounds. 9 trays, 9 pounds.
So my trays are, I mean, it's like very ventilated. So how do you not have things fall through?
You should have, or it should have come with, and if it didn't, you'll need to purchase them. They kind of look like, there were two things I forgot tonight, and those were the two things. What the trays look like. Right. It kind of looks like the plastic when you, like the,
Really
what is that stuff?
Crochet or
Right. You can use pantyhose. You can use pantyhose. Yes, ma'am. So all the friends I have that do roundless just use pantyhose, and they just dump the food on there. So just get queen size pantyhose and put it right over there. So yeah, I love it. So obviously clean queen size pantyhose. Again, I still wash those first to make sure that they're good, and then put them on because you don't know where that package is at. Yes.
What do you do with dehydrated oranges?
You know what? This is like my little best kept secret. Those who've been in my class before, you already know. This is like my little trick that I do because I think if we have all this water sitting in big 55-gallon barrels that haven't breathed, we have an emergency, we're not going to pump it all out. We're all going to try to aerate it, make it taste good. You know water is stale. You know it. You can't trick me into drinking that water and telling me it's going to taste just like it did before. That is not true. Because I've done it, it's not true. So this is my little sneaky secret. But what I do is I actually take, like especially during the season, during the winter, oranges are super cheap, especially to the end of the season. What's nice is the more puckered a fruit and a vegetable gets, the better it is to put it on. So when it becomes to the place where you don't want to use it because it's scary, your green peppers are all starting to, look like, I don't know, start look like they're going to haunt you. That's the time to put them on the dehydrator. So I take all my oranges, lemons, limes, I love it, chop them all up, throw them on there. It makes the house smell delightful. Then I take these when my friends come over.
Do you leave the rinds up?
What's that? I do. I leave the rinds on just about everything. Pears, they'll say don't do it. I do it. I love it.
So do you blanch everything?
I'll talk about it. Yeah, no problem. I'll get to you. Absolutely. Thank you for reminding me about that. So if I don't answer something, be sure and just so we can make sure you all hear it. When my friends come over and drink water, I throw a couple of these on top. They're like, where did you get these fancy oranges? I'm like, I'm in New York. I got these out of my dehydrator. What are you talking about? This is like, a 10-cent orange that I threw in there. So my friends are always like, that is so cute. Because while they're wonderful fresh, it may be in the middle of a time, a season when there aren't oranges, or they're not good, or they're bitter. These are sweet because they fully developed all their sugars. So you want the foods to go as long as possible before they become mush. And even if they're a little mushy, I still throw them on there. And this is where I'll use, there's a couple things I forgot. Sorry. It looks like a, Susan, what would you call that? The sheets that you do the fruit roll-ups on, but you can use wax paper.
Still pat.
There you go. Exactly. Yeah, any of that stuff. You can roll one of those out for anything that's a little bit runny. These, I actually start just like this. I actually just throw this in the dehydrator. As soon as it starts, all the moisture, because you see all the water that's kind of rolling around there, as soon as it dehydrates out, I dump it onto one of those sheets that I would use for or butcher paper or whatever, or freezer paper or whatever you're using, and I just smush it all out, roll it all out so it looks like a big glob, and then it dehydrates, and then I just break it up in pieces, my little bag, if you want to jar it, whatever you want to do. So, yes.
Have you ever tried to make orange juice or lemonade or anything?
I haven't, because the hardest part about fruit is there are a lot of fruits that will bounce right back, and there's some that just won't. The rinds will never become beautiful again. But this is a great way to get orange zest when it doesn't cost $1 million. Zest those up and just dehydrate it. You made your own orange powder. Love that. Mix with a little bit of sugar. Now you have orange sugar. Love it. But I haven't done that. I'll try it sometime and see if I can get. But getting these to bounce back, it's more of a slow bounce back than it is like a full flavored. Like celery will never become robust celery again. It's just not going to. No. Exactly. So that's why we say those are good to use like where it's hidden in something. Whereas like a peach will bounce back beautifully. Cherries will bounce back beautifully. A lot of blueberries will bounce back. So really fast. Here's an example of, these are fresh peaches that I just cut up. Ones I just bought from the little guy around the corner. Here's a bunch of canned ones that I used part of cans. And my kids didn't eat them all, or we used them for something and we didn't use it all. I just make sure I rinse them really, really well. Rinse as much of the syrup or sauce or whatever you're doing. If you got them and you've made them, you've canned them, then you can do these. And these are just canned that I've just sliced up. And again, I use this. Just do those. So you'll see the texture difference. You see the color difference. Anytime something is processed, it'll be darker whenever it dehydrates than fresh. However, they bounce back equally. So, but whatever it looked like it did before, it will go back to that most of the time. So here you go. For instance, and I didn't change these over because I started, but this is 4 cans of tomatoes. You have tomatoes that start going bad, or you've got cans that are about to expire, and you're praying that the Boy Scouts will come around and pick those up, and they'll get to the food bank in time because they won't use them if it's within so many days. You're praying that they just get them there. And so instead of doing that from now on, not that it's not good, give to the Boy Scouts when they come around for the food drive. But keep part of them back, and you can get another year, or 2 years, or 3 years out of that same food.